Okay, good afternoon. Good afternoon. I am interrupting your fellowship to start our 5,722nd meeting of the Rotary Club of Chicago. Thank you for being here. So we're going to start today with our member fun fact. I saw him come in today. So this is Steve. Steve is in our spotlight today for our fun fact. Steve decided to play the trombone in order to be different from his three siblings who all played the violin. I think his fun fact included you wanted it to be loud, right? You just wanted it to be loud and not the violin. So he chose the trombone. Yeah. So let's see if we can recall. I think this was, because last week we were at Avley, right? So this is from 2 weeks ago. Let's see if we remember. It's the first hand that I see when I look up. This member is a classically trained violinist of 10 years. She has recently resumed training. Richard, are you raising your hand? Yeah, that's right. It is Shelby. Very nice. Richard, that's your first sticker, right? Very good. So Richard gets his first sticker. Perfect. Richard, have you sent me a fun fact yet? Right. So that's a no. I should take that sticker back. Okay. Very good. All right. Speaking of Avley, just a reminder, our Tuesday evening meetings, that's the first Tuesday of each month, now meet at Avley. So we met there last week. And so the first Tuesday, that's our evening meetings. That's at Avley. And then our monthly fellowship meeting is also at Avley. All the other meetings are here like normal. So make sure that you are paying attention to the calendar and when we meet here and when we meet there. But the first Tuesdays are always there. And then also starting November 1st, our lunches came down to $40 for members and visitors. But, hey, very nice. But this does not include the special meetings like the President's Installation, Woman of the Year, things like that. Some other announcements before we have our speaker today. We are restarting the dictionary project. This is a nice way to get to know another fellow Rotarian and get to know some third graders in the city. You and a partner will deliver dictionaries to third graders and make a short presentation to them about everything they can learn from the dictionary. If you are interested, you will contact Wes, who is one of the community service co-chairs. You have his email there. You can take a picture of the slide. They work on coordinating the school visit for you. So you basically just need to get the dictionaries and show up and put on a little show for the third graders. Also, from the Community Service Committee, we have partnered with the Exodus World Services to solicit items for a refugee welcome pack. We are still collecting these items all the way through December. There's a Google Doc with a link in the emails that you can click on to identify what items you wish to purchase. And Lisa is the one who is coordinating this. Lisa, raise your hand. Wave your hand. There's Lisa. So it's I showed this last meeting. It looks like a wedding registry. So there's a list of items. You just put your name next to it and then identifies which item that you're going to purchase to donate. Next Tuesday, if you have, and not next Tuesday, what? Oh. Okay. So should I just skip this slide for now? Okay, we'll put a pin in that one. All right. Around Thanksgiving, you have opportunities to volunteer. So on the November 21st through the 24th, you have options to come for food prep at the hatchery. That's at 135 North Kedzie. Alita is hoping to get 3 people per shift on those dates. So if you have any questions, you can contact Alita. Alita, raise your hand. There she is. So if you have any questions, you can ask her. On Thanksgiving Day, we are having a day of service at the Lawson House. This is at 30 West Chicago. I think that's around maybe Chicago and Dearborn. That sounds about right, Chicago and Dearborn. There are 2 shifts. So the morning shift at 11 or the afternoon shift at 1:30. I'm attending the one in the afternoon. So if you are interested in volunteering on this day of service, you will sign up with the office or go to our calendar. And we have started again collecting applications for our Rotary Club of Chicago Community Service Scholarship. This is for all current college students attending school within the city of Chicago. They earn a $1,000 scholarship, and this is for a 2-year, 4-year. It doesn't have to be a university, it could be a trade school, but the primary focus is students with high levels of community service. So that application is due on December 31st. There's an email address there if you want more information, or you can go to the Rotary One website to get more information. Okay, February 23rd should already be in your phones as a save the date for our Rotary Club of Chicago birthday party fundraiser. I believe we're turning 120, so that warrants a giant party. So please bring yourself, bring everybody that you know, pick up some strangers on the way. They can pay at the door. The project of the International Service Committee will be spotlighted. It is at Chicago Theater Works, which is on Belmont. So put that in your phone right now. So it is time for me to introduce our speaker for today. Josh joined the Little Brothers Friends of the Elderly in October 2017. He and the volunteer services team oversee a volunteer corps of over 1,600 individuals and the support of over 100 organizations, along with the continued recruitment and recognition of volunteers. He also works to connect the LBFE to corporations, nonprofits, community groups, and neighborhoods throughout Chicago. Josh has worked in nonprofit operations and volunteer management for over 15 years, primarily in museums. He has a BA in history from Pace University in New York, a certificate in nonprofit management from Duke University, and an MA in museum studies from Johns Hopkins University. So with that, I invite Josh to come up and share his knowledge with us.
Thank you very much. I don't think I've ever heard my bio read before, so thank you for that. And this photo that I sent too, I didn't really look at it earlier. Now I'm like, I don't really know if I like that photo. Anyway, well, thanks very much for the opportunity to come and speak with you. One of the things that we're trying to do at Little Brothers is to expand our reach in a different way. And so by coming and doing things like this, it's something we would not have done prior to COVID. And so you can bear with me a little bit as we go through. Our logo. So our mission is to alleviate loneliness and isolation amongst older persons across the city of Chicago. And so what that means is we're looking for someone who is 70 and over, who's aging without family in their lives and without a network of friends. So someone who is living life alone, which is different, as I was having a discussion earlier, than living alone. Those are two different things. Living alone is different than living life alone. And so we serve right around 1,000 people right now, people who, again, either don't have another living person that they can turn to or have very limited social interactions. And so our organization is trying to bring socialization, friendship, engagement to an older person who wouldn't have it otherwise. Oftentimes when I talk to groups, they think of their own life and either the older people that they have in their life or that they did, and then what it would be like for that older person if there was no one else around them, if you weren't there or if family wasn't there. And again, that's the older person that we're looking to try to find. And we try to do things throughout, I shouldn't say try, we do things throughout the year to, again, bring friendship. So we're celebrating people's birthday in their birthday month. We do special summer vacation experiences in the summer. Thanksgiving Day and Christmas Day, we're going to see people. Everyone's going to get their own holiday gift in December. We'll be doing things on Halloween and St. Patrick's Day or Valentine's Day, again, trying to do things that friends do. And the organization is a volunteer-driven organization, and so our volunteer corps are the ones that are actually going out into the community and doing this. Visiting people, sharing time together, helping someone get somewhere, etc. And on the far end of the spectrum, there are also older adults that don't have anyone else, so they turn to us when something comes up. I'm having trouble getting to the doctor, or I need to reapply with my taxes. And so we're not an organization that does healthcare or does social work, but we're going to help our friend try to solve that problem with the tools that we have. So we're giving someone, saying, hey, this is how to fill this form out, or here you should talk to this person on the phone. We can't make the phone call for you, but here's the process to do it. I included this picture. This is one of our older adults. Her name's Marina. So I tell Marina's story when I do volunteer orientation. And so I thought it might be valuable to kind of tell her story now. So this picture was taken in July of 2020 by one of our volunteers. That summer we were visiting outdoors only. We were bringing things like that red cooler bag with snacks. There was a bag of things to do, and it was a summer vacation type experience. A lot of our folks don't go on summer vacation, and so we're trying to bring the vacation to them. And so our volunteer, her name is Joy, took this photo of Marina, and they shared this time together on a Friday, July of 2020. And 2 days after Joy saw Marina passed away. But I tell her story specifically to kind of drive home the point of what we're talking about here. A friend visited Marina in the last hours of her life. And the frequency that might happen is pretty low, but that's exactly what we're trying to do. Bring friendship to someone who not only wouldn't have had it otherwise. In the later years of their life, this is happening. And I said to one of our other folks earlier that one interaction, one time, can be life-changing. And that's exactly what this is. Changing someone's life at the last hours of their life because a friend shared their time together. And so that's what we're after. We don't charge money to the people that we serve. We don't accept money from the people that we serve. It's not about money. It's about friendship and sharing time. Oop, wrong way. And the last thing I was just going to share are just our goals as we go along. Again, just trying to expand our reach. Little Brothers has been in the city since 1965, 4. So been in the city a long time. And I see people all the time who say to me, well, I've been in the city my whole life. I've never heard of your organization before. I can't believe you've been in the city that long. And my response is, sure, the people that we serve are unseen. And so therefore we are unseen. But you're not going to know our organization. You're not going to come across our organization because you're not coming across this older person. But we want to try to build out more awareness of what it is that we're doing and why we're doing it. I would hope, and if you haven't, I would hope that you do. There's more being talked about what loneliness and isolation is in our community across the world, impacting every age. And it's only growing. Our interaction with each other is being greatly diminished for lots of reasons, and the population also continues to age. And so our need, very frankly, is only going to continue to grow, but also the need between people is only going to continue to grow. So part of our approach is, if you've got nothing to do with Little Brothers, you don't volunteer, that's okay, but maybe you know someone in your own community that doesn't interact with anybody. Maybe someone in your building, in your neighborhood, is an older person, and you know that don't interact with that person. Or better yet, maybe a younger neighbor, or maybe someone that you know is just having trouble making connections, human connections, building friendship. You could be that person to connect with them, or help them make connections. So if we can alleviate loneliness and isolation for our entire population, that's only going to help our entire population make these kind of connections. So thank you for the time. I don't need 20 minutes, I don't think. But the last thing I'll say is, for me, the last 7 years, it's fairly straightforward what we're trying to do. That we're not trying to generate revenue. We're not trying to sell anything. We're trying to make human connections with other humans. Simple as that. So what else can I add? Questions? I saw your hand first. Oh, yes. Okay, I can handle that. Oh, brilliant. I can repeat. Will do.
Talk a little bit about your age range of your volunteers.
Sure.
I happen to have a friend who do it, and when you're now, they said people seem to think it needs to be like a younger person
Sure.
to an older person.
Yep. So a question around the age range of people who can participate. So We require volunteers to be 18 because we require a background screen, but we have volunteers in their 90s. We also have volunteers that bring their entire family unit. So we have volunteers bring their infant. Now, granted, they're not doing it on their own, but yeah, so the age range is pretty huge. An individual, to do it on your own, you must be 18 or over, but anyone who's an active volunteer can have someone come with. At the holidays especially, we see the whole family unit in a car. There's 6 people, and they go see like 6 people in a single building. And the whole family unit goes to the whole thing. On the far end of the spectrum, we have families, not very many, but we do, where they choose to connect with an older adult one-to-one. That's one of our volunteer roles. But then over the years, as their children age, this person is in their life. And so there are high school students that have been connected with the same older adult for 10 years, but their families connected. And on their way to school, they'll stop by this person's house. Now, are they, quote unquote, volunteering with us? They're 16, but their family knows that it's happening. We know their family. And so, okay, then that's fine because you guys know what's going on. So a pretty big spectrum. There are volunteers, I'll add, that have been volunteering since they're in high school. So we got 50-year volunteers. We have multiple people who have been around 50 years as a volunteer. So thank you for that question. A great question. Another question I can answer. Yes. Sure. Sure.
Are they in the city proper?
Sure. So a question about what's happening and how could the group participate, and also where is it happening and what part of the city. So there are things happening throughout the year constantly. So we have a small food pantry to celebrate people's birthday. We try to have a secondary party. So again, like Valentine's Day is a secondary party. There are folks that we assign, again, a volunteer to see one-to-one, although that does require a commitment. So most of what it is that we're doing, I define it as step in and step out. You can step in at your will and step out at will. The holidays is actually the better time I think, to get involved because there's just more happening. There's more excitement about what's going on. There are volunteers that we see multiple times a week, volunteers that we see once a year. But to us, it doesn't really matter. What matters is that, again, you're participating, can be once. Again, that one interaction matters. So yeah, we could share all that stuff, but I think to me it's, what do you want to do? What could you do? And also, is there a door that you could open or show us that maybe we don't know about? Maybe there's another opportunity that I haven't come across that maybe you guys do. And so we serve actually 3 locations. So here in the city, there's about 1,000 people that we serve. We also have a location in Northwest Indiana, out of our location in Maryville, and a location in Batavia in the western suburbs, serving DuPage and Kane County. The Northwest Indiana site has about 65 older adults, and the DuPage Kane County expansion site is very small with 15 people. Just over the 2 years we've been doing that. I'll also add, though, since you mentioned, there are chapters across the world. So Little Brothers is a network of like-minded organizations where we agreed to charter to do the same thing. So there are 10 different countries, probably 12 countries around the world, and there's 4 other US cities. Each chapter is independent from one another, but the charter is what connects us. So we use the same name, have the same mission, support one another, share resources, et cetera, but everyone remains independent. So if you wanted to move to Paris, you can volunteer at Little Brothers in Paris. Thank you for that. Oh, one other thing I was going to mention, I thought of, I'm sorry. Once we accept older adults into the program, I'll go back to that picture of Marina. They're accepted into the program for life. So again, this isn't a money thing. So I think Marina was part of our program for 13 years. So part of our system is designed to be a friend and be there for that person for the remainder of their life, regardless of how long that lasts. So there are people that have been in the program probably for 30 years. We have had a whole bunch of people who are, over 100, beyond 100. And we talk to them regularly, see them regularly, et cetera, because they're, we're friends. And again, there's no money attached to this. So yes, sir, a question.
Yes, what you're doing here is very right? What do you do collecting program? And then on the other side, how do you vet the people volunteering?
Sure.
I think it's a really delicate.
Delicate is an excellent word, yeah. So the question about the delicate balance of what it is that we're doing and how are we finding people and getting people into the program, but also how are we vetting people who participate on the volunteer side. So Not every older adult is someone that we would engage. The example that I use all the time is someone who's like, oh, my dad would love to talk to other seniors. That'd be great. How to get, my dad would be perfect for it. So I say, well, do you see your dad? Oh yeah, I see my dad all the time. And my brother and sister see my dad all the time. Like, well, then that's not the person that we're looking for. Very frankly, we're looking for someone who doesn't have that. Has 0 people in their life. And so once someone is interested, they have to contact us. That's part of our requirement. And we do something called a loneliness assessment. It's actually a real thing. The UCLA loneliness scale is a real tool. And it's basically a pretty detailed questionnaire to find out what's going on in that person's life. And again, not every person that we accept. And so we use this scale to kind of see what's really going on. And of course, we expect that person to answer honestly and be realistic about what's going on. But again, once we accept them, then the program for life. But also there's a spectrum of, so someone who's dealing with dementia or Alzheimer's, when we meet them, is also not typically someone that we would be able to engage with because we couldn't make a relationship with that person. But if someone develops something over time, we don't stop seeing them. So there are people that we see twice a month that don't know us, don't know who we are or what we're doing. But that's not the point. Again, that's not the point. The point is that we commit to them forever. And for volunteers, again, we background screen everybody. We have a pretty detailed onboarding process, pretty regular communication. We do a monthly Zoom call with our volunteer corps. There's probably 3 social interactions that we do every month. And on top of that, the system is designed that whenever we see volunteers, they're engaged in the moment as well. So we talk to the folks a lot. I've seen over the years as a volunteer director that either someone gets it and they're in, or they're not. There's not really a whole lot of people kind of in the middle. Because frankly, it really isn't for everybody. One of the things that also happens that I still don't think we really talk enough about is there's a bit of an unemotional investment in this that is sort of like under the table. But because we're asking people to make human connections with other humans. And you don't need to see that person again. But in that moment, Joy, interacting with Marina, Joy is making an emotional investment in that moment right now to make a real human connection. It only has to be once, and that's okay. So there's that undertone too. So when I talk to folks, I try to make it real clear, especially now post-COVID, that this is the reality. This is real life out there. The folks that we serve are dealing with real life in real time. It's for real. This isn't like a sugar-coated kind of a thing. So delicate is an excellent word. I'm going to remember that to use that again. Delicate is absolutely what's happening. There's a huge gray area within we operate in. I was saying to Megan just a bit ago that each person is different in a different place in time. And we try to meet that person where they are as best we can as their life changes and as they age. So it's different every time. So a great question. Thank you for that. Did you have another question?
It relates to something you've already answered.
Sure.
Safety.
Yeah.
Partly that, volunteers go to background checks, especially on one-on-one visits. Is there other steps and so that you take on your, the client, customer, that is safe for volunteers?
Yes. So no volunteer sees someone that the organization doesn't know. So that means staff are going to see that person. There's a minimum 90-day process that we need to see that person twice a month for twice a month times 3 to make sure that this is the right sort of a thing to send a volunteer over there. So that's a big part of it. I think part of our system is also designed on, again, this is the reality. So our expectation is that our elders are telling us what's going on too. But there are also folks that only staff see. There's only folks that certain staff see because of the situation that they're in. So there are folks that no volunteer sees because of the situation. And some of the situations can be pretty challenging, to say the least. But again, we commit to them, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the situation is, we're gonna do it. And if we have to shift gears or make different plans to do that, then we'll do that. And I've been to places, that I would never, ever send someone that didn't already know what they're walking into. And that doesn't mean that this person's not lovely. It's just a situation that they're in. Yeah. So we take the safety piece is pretty critical, and we try to be real clear about, what's out there. And you guys all know that, life can change on a dime. So that's another part that we present to the volunteers, especially that, we know everybody, but something could have changed yesterday, and you show up today. And that's just part of the life that we live. And that can be, again, not for everybody. But that's the reality of that life is. Sir.
We're always looking for new members. And one of the things with Rotary in general is that we want to make sure that we're having ability to get them back and create those easy, I guess, benefit to your members, but opportunity for us to offer opportunities for service projects, ways to get involved with us as well too for new members, and why can't we for everybody?
So have our members be involved as individuals? Sure. Sure. Yeah. Sure. Sure. So the question is about, would some of the members at Little Brothers be someone that could be engaged in fellowship through Rotary, something along those lines? Sure. So, and then, yeah, on the flip side, what, things that Rotary can do. So I think the two parts of that is, I'll answer the older adult part first. Sure, although the majority of the older adults that we serve are vulnerable and are not in positions to be able to do a whole lot. So, I mean, that's possible, but I would go with probably unlikely, just because of the vast majority of the people that we serve are in no shape or form able to be as independent as they may like. Right. Yeah, most people that we serve, they're dealing with more than just loneliness and isolation. But yes, we want to provide people opportunity to do things, and if there is opportunity, we'll totally try to figure out a way to do that and help that person. Transportation is a huge problem, especially now post-COVID. Our older adults are coming to us, we're trying to get places. We are not designed to do that or equipped to do that. And so one of the challenges of the last 2 years, and actually still ongoing, is like, well, what are we going to do? How are we going to do this? And it's not an easy thing. I'm sure you guys probably also know that less people are driving in the city, less people own cars in the city, less people even have a driver's license in the city, especially younger people. So that's a huge gaping problem. And then the second part, you're talking about what is Rotary able to do. There's lots and lots of things that are going on. We are not equipped to have somebody say, show up and leave. Although we do have groups do that, but it's not as well designed. I'd rather do something along the lines of, well, what do you guys like to do? What could you do? And how would that fit that in? And I'll give you an example. There's a staff member who retired a couple of years ago, 40-year person, who retired and got into Rotary in her area. I can't tell you, we were talking about the different Rotaries, I can't tell you the Rotary she's with. But she's the kind of person that drags everybody with her. So they are coming 2 or 3 times a year to our commercial kitchen in our building and making lasagna and then freezing it. And it goes into our grocery bags. About 140 people get a monthly grocery bag from our small food pantry. So now elders are like, oh, is it lasagna month? Oh my God. So, something like that is, we're not doing that on the regular. So she came to us and said, hey, what do you think about this? Because she knows more, she knows what we're doing. And I'm like, oh, wow, that's a very interesting idea. That would totally work. So to me, that's a better bet where, so they're bringing in the resources, they're bringing in the ingredients, and they're doing it, but it has a high impact on our end for the older people that we serve. But we would not have done that otherwise, because we're not able to do that. So that would just throw that out there as an idea. As an idea, but there's a lot of potential for sure. 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 Yeah. Sure. So the question is about maybe our staff would be interested in joining. I again would agree. I will add though that my definition is that because there's so much of an emotional investment by our staff, having them do something in addition to is very challenging. And we've been down that road. I've been down that road personally multiple times, and there's no real bandwidth. Not to mean that they wouldn't or they couldn't, or that I wouldn't even present it. I just know their bandwidth is low because of the work that we do. just to be, again, just being realistic. Yeah. Yep. 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 Yep.
And I just realized, like, every time I saw them, they didn't have anybody that was coming to visit them. Or like, when we were at the holiday party, there was nobody there. Their family didn't come
Right.
to the holiday party. So are those kind of some of the that you also?
Absolutely. And so the question is about, people who live in the nursing home, then, I go see a family member, then there's other people there that nobody sees, but they're excited to see me. That is commonplace. And that happens everywhere. In ways that I can't even, I may be here for another hour. There are individuals that we serve that have family who don't see them. We have individuals that live with family and they don't interact with them in any shape or form. We have people that are living in situations that any other situation, it would be like an emergency to get them out of there, but there's no alternative. So yeah, there's multiple layers to it. When I visited my wife's great aunt at the nursing home, it's exactly the same thing. Oh, hi, you see, because nobody's seeing them. You make me think of a story that was a couple years ago I read in the newspaper about a woman. I don't think she was living in Chicago anymore. Either was divorced or her husband had passed, and she was thinking about that guy that she dated in high school. Oh man, I wonder what's going on with that guy. She found that guy in Chicago in a nursing home, and the article actually said, an interview by the member of the staff, he's been here for 10 years and not a single person came to see that person. And this woman found him and took him out of there. And I was reading this and being like, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. How can that be? But how many hundreds of people are like that? Not only across the city, but how many thousands upon thousands of people are like that across this greater area? I think that's the person that we're trying to find. But the other part of my job is to find the resources to be able to serve those extra people. The only way that we're going to be able to do more people, more older adults, is by individuals. And again, I'm not saying that any of you guys have to do anything, but the fact that you know what it is that we're doing, maybe there's something out there that we don't know about. Maybe you could say, hey, Josh, I think you should do this. I can't help it, I think you should do that. Okay, great. Every one person can make a difference, and every one person that we add is another older person that can be engaged. Sort of simple as that. Yes. Thank you. I could be here for a while. Sure. Another great question. You're talking about Zoom and social media, things like that. So prior to COVID, that was not something that we thought about at all. During the COVID, we were like, whoa, probably should have had that ready to go. And then now that it's post-COVID, again, back to an earlier question, most of the people that we serve are not equipped to do anything like that. There are some folks that don't have a phone, period. Forget about a smartphone. Who will never be able to figure out how to do it, even if we sat with them and we've tried to show them how to do it. There's definitely a tool that can be used. There's definitely folks that we serve that would be able to do that, but the majority really wouldn't. What matters is an in-person interaction. That's what matters. And we've seen that throughout the course of the 60+ years, all sort of evidence that is absolutely what is alleviating loneliness and isolation. A real person in real time. That's what will work. Zoom will work, sure, but it's going to be something that's temporary. So thank you very, very much.
Okay. It's not Christmas Day yet. Okay, so we want to thank you for being our speakers. So you get 2 gifts today. So all of our speakers get our fancy Rotary Club of Chicago reusable tote. So feel free to parade this around.
I can do that.
So that's that.
Cool, thank you.
But for those of you who were at the meeting where we wrote the cards for Thanksgiving Day, this is what they're for. So we have in here, he gave us a list of 130 names, and we took a meeting and we split up the names, and this box is now full of cards that will go to the individuals that their organization serves on Thanksgiving Day. So these are for you, for them, from us.
Great, thank you very much. And so what we did was, we're gonna put this in their actual, report to them. So Don's gonna get it in.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Yep, they're all there. Yeah. Okay, so with that, that brings us to our new member inductions. We have 3 individuals who will be joining us as members today. So Nancy and or Andrew, you'd like to come up? Do you have the script? I think it might still be on the cart, but come on up here. So John and Alicia is out there and Allison is coming up. The pins are here. We just need the script.
It's pretty long, Tina. It's like 4 pages. It's like double space, but All right, Nancy, here's what we are gonna tag team this because you'll be on pin duty, and that's something I just do not trust myself with, so. You get the thrust after.
Okay.
Yes, also, so everybody who may not know, Allison and Alicia are, with Blue Outcomes, our new admin for the club. So they've been working really hard. So it's a round of applause. Oh, sweet. I was gonna start Google. It's gonna Google in a second, so.
Sorry, not gonna play.
Thank you. All right. It is my great pleasure on behalf of the Board of Directors and members of the Rotary Club of Chicago to welcome you as a member of Rotary One. We welcome you not only for the fine fellowship that we shall share, but also for your talents, abilities, and enthusiasm that will help us to carry out our many projects to make our community, our country, and the world a better place in which to live. Rotary is not a political organization, but all Rotarians are vitally concerned with everything pertaining to good citizenship and the election of good men and women to public office. Rotary is not a charitable organization, yet its activities exemplify the charity and the sacrifices that one should expect from people who believe they have a responsibility to help others. Rotary is not a religious organization, but it is built on those eternal principles that have served as the moral compass for people throughout the ages. Rotary is an organization of businesses and professional people pledged to upholding the highest professional standards. Rotarians believe that worldwide fellowship and international peace can be achieved when business people unite under the banner of service. You're all standing, so appreciate that. You have been chosen for membership in the Rotary Club of Chicago because your fellow Rotarians believe you to be a leader in your profession and because you manifest the intelligence and commitment of heart that fit you to interpret and impart the message of Rotary. You are a representative of your profession in this club, and any information of an educational value pertaining to that profession must naturally come to us through you. At the same time, you become an ambassador from us to your profession, and we rely on you to carry the principles and ideals of service which we here inspire to those who share your professional activity. The community will know and judge Rotary by your embodiment of it in your character and service, and we accept you as a member because we know our principles and organization will be safe in your keeping. We also expect you to give us the inspiration that will help us to become better Rotarians. And it's with that hope I ask Nancy, thank you, to invest you with the distinguishing pin of Rotarian and gladly offer you the right hand of Rotary Fellowship. Well done. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Andrew and Nancy. And if each of you would like to spend 1 minute to just introduce yourself to the rest of your colleagues here. So John, you'll start. 1 minute, you're on the clock.
Thanks, everyone, and thank you especially to Alita for being such a amazing representative and spokesperson for Rotary, and thank you to Lisa for making me feel so welcome, and to Ryan especially. And I look forward to getting to know the rest of you all, as I'm come from a long tradition of people who are of service. My mother and father had 11 children, so charity truly begins at home. But I just have one daughter, so I have more bandwidth than they do. My daughter Elsa and I actually were volunteers at Little Brothers Friends of the Elderly for some years. We attended both meetings or celebrations in the community over on Ashland Avenue, and we took meals to elderly, and they loved seeing my daughter and receiving the wonderful gift bags that were decorated, by volunteers as well. So just thank you all. I look forward to meeting every single one of you.
Hello, I'm Elisha Sepich. I am the voice or not voice and the typing behind all of your emails. I'm with Blue Outcomes, and we will handle the admin part of all of your guys' questions and inquiries. I appreciate the opportunity that everybody has given me on this job, and working with all of you and giving me some grace as we weed through some of the things. I appreciate that. And thank you for having me. This is great. I love it. I can't wait to come to more and get to know everybody else. Thank you. Hi, I'm Allison Cummins. I am the owner of Blue Outcomes, and I just want to say thank you to everyone who has been so welcoming to our team as we learn how Rotary works. And I especially want to thank Robert and Andrew and Alita for introducing me to this amazing organization, and we're just so honored to be a part of it now. So thank you.
And thank you to Blue Outcomes for the work that you do for us. So we welcome you as well. Thank you. Okay, we have a visiting Rotarian today, so I'm going to invite you to come up. And you also have a minute to tell us where you're coming from and anything that you can fit into the space of a minute.
Hi, everybody. I am David Christensen. I am from the Abilene Southwest Rotary Club in Abilene, Texas. And let's see, what else? I am a past district secretary. My wife was the governor. It's District 5790. And I joined on 10/10/2010, so about 10 years now. And let's see what else is there about me. I'm here for an academic conference of educational developers who work to help college faculty learn how to teach. And so there's a whole bunch of us here just down the street. So thank you.
Yeah, it's probably best that he and I weren't at the same table because we would have just talked to each other the whole time. I'm also a professor, for those who may not know. Okay. So next Tuesday, I am excited. Our speakers that day will be from Brave Hearts. So Brave Hearts is a therapeutic writing and educational center, and basically what they do is they work with veterans, and they work with horses, and they pair the two. And when I was trying to get them to come speak to us, she asked if they should bring a horse to the Union League Club, and I was like, oh, we can't do that. Where are we gonna put a horse? I don't think we're gonna put a horse in the Union League Club, but I thought it was a really cute question. I had to say no, I'm sorry. Hopefully you'll come anyway. Yeah, so that's next week. Our Rotary Means Business Fellowship is on the first Monday of each month. So I guess maybe that was a couple of weeks ago. This next one will be in December. For this, you do not have to register. This is okay. You should register to attend, but there's no cost. Okay, so you should register to attend. There is no cost. You can find the link to register on our Rotary One calendar, and it's only the first Monday of each month at Cafe Chow, which is on Madison. Every Friday, we have an informal networking and fellowship at noon on the 4th floor, Carvery. So that one you don't have to register for. You just come, you get your lunch, and you'll hang out with other Rotarians. We have November birthdays coming up. Actually, Allison, is today your birthday? Last Tuesday was your birthday? Well, I'm sorry that we missed that because we absolutely would have sung to you for that. So happy birthday to all of our November members. Pancho's in the room. I already asked him if it was his birthday today, and he said no. Okay, so we're coming up to our annual campaign. And so this is the time to be thinking about how you want to give. Some of you are doing this on a monthly basis as part of your dues, and that's great. Some of you want to give at the end of the year, that's fine too. Everything helps. It can be $5, it can be $10,000, whatever you feel like giving on that particular day. Make sure that you contact the office. We cannot do the projects that we do without your money. So I don't know how else to say that. Roses are red, violets are blue. We need your money to do the projects that we do. So please donate. That's pretty good, right? Right on the spot. Okay, so with that, I don't have any other announcements, so I will close the meeting with the Rotary four-way test. So please stand at your seats. For those of you who don't know it, it is up here. This is the Rotary four-way test of the things we think, say, or do. Number 1, is it the truth? Number 2, is it fair to all concerned? Number 3, will it build goodwill and better friendships? Number 4, will it be beneficial to all concerned? And number 5, will it be fun? So with that, make sure you follow us on social media, stay up to date with what we are doing. Thank you very much for attending today.
Oh, sorry, everybody. I'm always, hello. Hey, members. Just one more thing. Nominations are open for president and the board of directors and the board of directors for the foundation. If you would like to be any of those things or you would like to nominate someone, please reach out to me. Thank you.
Not all Rotary clubs have that, right, because we are large. There's so many people that use retreats, yeah, we're run by. Yeah. Yeah, so they just took over, and was they charged by hour or by class? We had the one we had charged by class and by hour. Set the number of hours.